Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Welcome to the Gadget Show, brought to you by Sprint. My name is Tim Stevens, editor-in-chief of Engadget, and tonight's episode is going to be a pleasure both for eyes and for your ears. We're going to be taking a tour of one of the world's finest manufacturers of earbuds. We're going to be chatting with They Might Be Giants to get a feel for some of the technology that helps them make their music. And we're also going to be chatting with Colleen Quill from Universal Republic Records, talking about the future of the record label and what exactly the record label means to us in a world of Spotify and iTunes and RDO and lots of other options like that. But first, have you ever wondered if it really makes sense to spend more on earbuds?
Welcome to Engadget Laboratories, where crack researchers Brian Heater and Terrence O'Brien do science-y things. No, don't drink. Oh, God. Today's science experiment. Can the average person tell the difference between low-quality and high-quality earbuds? To help Brian and Terrence, 4 individuals have been selected to act as our guinea pigs. But first, Terrence has kindly volunteered to demonstrate how the procedure will work. Brian will go ahead and blindfold Terrence so that he can no longer see and tell what earbuds will be placed in his ears. Once Brian has scientifically established that Terrence can't see, he will place a set of earbuds in his ears, and our control device will begin to play the set music for this test. Our guinea pigs will have 4 earbuds to judge. Quality of sound will be rated on a scale of 1 to 10. As you can see, our 4 guinea pigs are already blindfolded and ready to begin the test. No looking. And stop dancing. The test will be conducted in this specially constructed soundproof booth. First, let's see how our guinea pigs rate a $10 pair of earbuds. Interesting, yes. And now a $25 pair. No peeking, Terrence. Now the $50 pair of headphones. Boys, stop it. Let's move on to the final pair of $100 earbuds. The results are in. In this case, it seems you get what you pay for. All but one of our subjects preferred the highest quality earbuds. Great job, as always, Brian and Terrence.
Welcome back. Welcome, Brian Heater and Terrence O'Brien from the Engadget Lab.
Good to be back.
Yeah, that was a long distance trip from you, all right?
Yeah, it was literally in the back. Am I breaking the fourth wall? It was literally shot in the back of the studio.
I think you are, absolutely. Yeah. So
that's what walls are for. Walls are made to be broken, Tim.
4 walls, 4 earbuds, 4 willing subjects.
Well,
10 fingers each.
I hope so. That will really throw off the numbers.
Except Jason, I think he had an unfortunate accident in the labs.
All right, so we've got to rate Jason with a curve.
Yes.
Otherwise, we've got 10 fingers here, and we've got 4 price points. What are we talking here in terms of the earbuds?
So we looked at Philips' $10 pair of earbuds, $25 pair, $50, and $100.
And these are all just kind of like the earbuds that you'd buy off a shelf. You'd walk in and you were shopping based on price, you might just reach up.
This is literally our crack team of researchers literally rolled into a Best Buy and bought 4 pairs of earbuds. So exactly. So if you're walking in off the street and you just are looking to drop a certain amount of money, these right off the shelf.
Right off the shelf. So no custom tuning. And let's look at some of the ratings. Now I think I have to do some math.
This is the part where you do math, yeah.
With a big honking marker. All right, starting with a $10 mark. Jason gave it just a 1. David gave it, I think that's an 8. We've got a 6 from Donna and a 6 as well from Chris. So a little bit of continuity there. So we've got 12.
That's an 8. That's an 8 and an okay sign.
Okay.
So that might alter the
what score is an okay?
0.5.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we got 12.
We didn't do that in rehearsal.
20. No. 21. 21 for the Philips.
You guys just remember the 0.5.
Yeah.
In case that skews things a little bit.
That'll be in the deleted scenes later. So ear pollution is a little bit more expensive and also augmented with a radioactive symbol on the earbud there, which is a lovely bit of color.
Yeah, that uranium really adds a little extra base to it.
Jason rated that. Big improvement for Jason, going up to an 8. David, which may or may not actually be his name, also an 8. Donna, not so impressed by the radioactive symbol, just a 2. And Chris gave it a 5. So we've got 7, 15, 23. Yeah?
Sure.
Am I doing my math right?
Not entirely sure Chris isn't just waving to the camera in the little show.
Well, maybe he thought, was he the one that we might have found?
He wasn't the one that we
Later?
found in the
Okay,
box,
good.
yeah.
Okay, good.
The one who sadly died while we were shooting those things earlier.
Spare a thought.
Yeah.
Moving on, kicker. What price point are we at here?
It's $50.
$50, and the design is looking a little bit more higher end there with the replaceable rubber bit. It also looks like maybe a microphone built in. So we've got Jason talking with a 7, David an 8. Donna still unimpressed, flashing up the peace sign, or maybe it's not the peace sign, depending if we're in the UK. And a 10 from Chris. So we've got 12, 20, 27?
If that is in fact the UK sign, it's a good thing that you didn't give anything a 1.
I lost count now. Oh, I got to do this again. No jokes. 22, 12, 27. Yeah.
Sure.
And finally, Bose. These are the highest, and Bose is probably the most respected and yet least respected manufacturer on the market, I think it's safe to say.
Second to Monster, maybe.
Second to, yes.
There actually used to be an L in that name. They dropped it off though.
Where would that L have fallen?
They used to be called Blows.
So this is the $100 pair, most expensive that we have here. And Jason was digging it, 10. David digging it with a 10. Donna pretty close with a 9. Chris, not so much, just a 3.
He's a lighting guy.
So 29, 32. There you go. I think we've got a pretty clear progression. As you go more expensive, these suckers actually get better, unless your name's Chris, in which case you should just go ahead and spend $10 and put your money, I don't know, on a crowbar to get out of the booth at the end of the segment, something like that.
He might have been just gesturing to us that he couldn't actually hear what what was coming through his earbuds.
So did you guys get a chance to sample any of these? Did you?
Terrence tried one of them.
Yeah, I don't even remember which ones, though.
Okay, so we have no empirical data. We have just this important data here to go with. Hard numbers, you can't argue with this. Spend more money, you'll get better sound.
We did have test tubes, though.
Right, how did that stuff taste, by the way?
A lot like
Very green-colored water.
Now, our most expensive was $100, but you can spend a lot more than that if you're interested in doing so. We took a tour of the Westone facility, makers of some of the best earbuds in the world that are priced many, many times the Bose. Let's check it out.
Darren here with Engadget. We're in Colorado Springs, Colorado today at Westone's headquarters. We're here with Lynn Kaler, President and CEO. He's going to give us a bit of background about where this company came from and where it's at now.
You know, we got into pro audio, doing in-ear monitors for musicians about 20 years ago. In the mid-2000s, we noticed, wow, we're really selling a lot of our pro audio products to people that are using these with iPods.
Right.
And developed a complete line of products just for personal listening.
I've heard you guys do everything in-house, from the ear injection mold through the design all the way to the final product right here. So are we going to be able to take a look at that today?
We're going to follow the entire process through and make you a set of our Elite Series ES5 custom monitors.
Cool. Let's go take a look. Hey, I'm Darren with Engadget.
Hey, I'm Dale Douglas. I do artist relations here at Westone, and I heard you're stopping by, so let's talk about some ear monitors.
Cool. So I just met with Lynn, and he said that I was going to get some ES5. So I'm totally fresh to this. I have no idea what to expect.
Well, the ES5 is our top-of-the-line ear monitor. It has 5 speakers in each ear, so it has a single low, 2 mids, and 2 highs with a passive 3-way crossover in each ear. So it's pretty incredible sounding.
I've also heard that you guys are into highly customizing things. So tell me a little bit about what's going on.
But part of the process is choosing the color. There's so many to choose from. Pretty much, if you can imagine it, we can do it.
This ice blue here reminds me a lot of Engadget blue. So I think if I have a say, I might pick this. It just seems fitting, right?
Oh yeah, well it's a great color. It's got great translucence. You can see the components, which is kind of techy. Yeah. And so yeah, it's like I said, it's one of the most popular colors we have right now.
So I've got all my information down here, really exciting stuff. But I'm actually interested in some of the technology that goes into these.
Well, I'm gonna have to introduce you to Carl Cartwright. He heads up our new product development. So if you want to head on around the corner there, I'm sure he'll be glad to meet with you.
Cool, it's been a pleasure.
All right, nice to meet you.
Thanks. So now we're here with Carl Cartwright. He's the mastermind behind a lot of things that happen at this company. He's been here 32 years, longer than I've been alive, which is really impressive. So we're talking with somewhat of a genius here. So Westone exclusively uses balanced armature versus dynamic drivers that a lot of other headphone companies use. So what made you make that decision? Why have you stuck with it? And what's the differences between those two technologies?
Balanced armature drivers give us a couple of distinct advantages, particularly from a packaging standpoint. For instance, to see the size differences, this is the typical dynamic type driver that we're all used to, that has been around for a long time.
These ship with just about every portable product ever. I mean, these look just like the earphones that come with any MP3 player or iPod or anything like that.
And you know, the great thing about these is you've got one speaker, it's pretty good size, it gives you decent sound. This is our Westone 4, and this has 4 speakers in it with a 3-way crossover. You can see size-wise, I can do a lot more. I can get a lot more stuff in using balanced armature drivers. And what it allows me to do is use a smaller driver and really focus its output to the frequency range that I want.
Tell me a little bit about what goes on quality-wise to make sure whatever leaves here, you'd be proud to have your name on it.
I think that that's one of the things that differentiates us, is that our Q&A is 100% on 100% of the product. Every product that leaves the door is 100% QC'd from its lowest frequency range that it's rated at to the highest frequency range that it's rated at. I also believe that that's one of the things that is a differentiator for us.
So that's for pro and consumer, right? Everybody's gotta
Absolutely.
go through that.
Everyone gets
Okay.
the same attention and level of detail.
Thanks, Carl. We really appreciate the information.
Great. Well, I appreciate you coming by and visiting us.
Thanks a lot. Hey, I'm Darren. I'm hearing that I'm getting some ear impressions.
Yes, Darren. Hi, I'm Dr. Murray. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Have a seat. And this block is going to stop the impression material from going anywhere I do not want it to be. It acts as a limiter. It just limits the impression material to a certain part of the ear canal. We mix up a silicone mixture and then I'll squirt it into your ear. You're going to feel some pressure, you'll feel your ear fill up, and you're not going to hear very well. Okay, Darren, it's time for those to come out. It's been about 4 minutes, so we're going to pull those out. And I'm just going to pull up on your ear a little bit. You're going to feel a little seal break. And you'll feel that come on out. And that's beautiful. That's a perfect ear impression.
This impression is going to the lab where we are going. And so it goes from this eventually to an in-ear monitor custom made for my ear. So let's go check it out. Hey, I'm Darren from Gadget.
Hey Darren, nice to meet you. I'm John Spatafora. I'm the lab manager here at Westone Laboratories. This is our electronics lab where we make Westone custom in-ear monitors.
Awesome. So I just had my ear impressions done, and I heard that they have to come here. So what happens next?
This is where we receive your order. We open up the order and inspect your impressions, and there's an order form inside. We'll input that information in the computer, and your order is specifically identified by a serial number. So your serial number is basically tracked throughout the entire process.
So after we've got the order in the system, we start getting some hands-on stuff. So take us down the line. What happens after this?
This is the impression that came out of your ear. First part of the process, what we call trimming. We use some tools to basically cut this impression down to the shape of the monitor.
So once that's trimmed down, something else has to happen. Where do we go
Right.
next?
For an inner monitor to work properly and to fit properly, waxing is such a critical part of the process. So the waxing essentially will build it up so you get a nice, tight, positive seal. That seal essentially will block out any ambient noise around you.
So after it's all sealed up, where does it go?
Well, after the waxing process, we send it into the investment room, and that's where all the magic happens.
Okay, the secret lab behind the lab.
Exactly.
Cool. Let's go check it out.
All right.
So the investment room, that sounds like a pretty important place. Some pretty amazing stuff happens here, right?
Exactly. This is where the shell's made for the monitor.
Okay. So the whole shell process happens in here?
Right. This is it. During the investment process, we'll use a duplicating gel to create a negative of the impression. Once the colloid has cured, we then extract the impression from the colloid and it leaves a cavity or a negative. From that, we can then pour the acrylic material into the negative and pour the shell. Once the material has cured, we can then remove the finished shells from the colloid. And the clear portion of the canal, that's the flex portion, and the candy blue portion is the hard acrylic. We'll flatten the shell down to a specific thickness based on the shape of the ear and also based on the type of monitor that's going to be built. This is where we're doing some final finish work to the monitor. Now this is after the components have been installed into the monitor, and we're flap sanding, smoothing down any rough edges. This is the final high polish shine process. Essentially what we do is use a buffing lathe with some polish and shine up the entire acrylic portion of the monitor. Several times throughout the build process, we will test the monitor, make sure the sound signature is correct and the components are operating properly. This one happens to be Darren's monitor that we're doing a final sweep on before it goes to the final quality control process. Well, Darren, we got your ES5s finished up.
So this is the unboxing process that we love so much, see?
That's it. You got your cleaning cloth in here, your monitors, your OTOEs, and your cleaning tool, and your VIP tag.
Very nice.
All
Very
custom
nice.
just for you. All right, well, enjoy, Darren.
Thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting us in your lab.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
All right, Brian, we are at the review table. Are you ready to talk about some of the
this
biggest gadgets
is
of the
where
month?
it really goes down.
Yeah, right on this table are some of the finest pieces of circuitry.
Certainly
that,
some of the
you'll find.
most contemporary gadgets.
Except for one. This is a phone that will be familiar to many of you. This is the original Droid.
It's the OD.
The OG,
The OG OD.
OG-OD, the
Yeah.
original Droid. This is the phone that brought many people, myself included, to Android. This was my first Android smartphone. Yours as well,
This
right?
was, this was, I believe this was the first one on Verizon, wasn't it? The first
Might have
major
been.
Android phone
This
on
is the one
Verizon?
that introduced the world to the Droid brand, and of course had the sliding keyboard and this lovely gold and black color combo that I kind of like. It kind of looks like I don't know, a Pontiac or something like that.
Sure.
Something
That's
classy.
Exactly. I thought Pontiac. I'm glad that you said it.
Okay, good. This, of
This
course.
is the Droid 3, so we're skipping ahead.
Yeah, the two.
Forgetful, the interstitial droid,
Right.
as it's known in the business. A pretty similar build, body-wise.
Basic idea.
With
Still
the
got
little
this kind
slicker,
of
yeah.
patented chin on the bottom, which I think, I don't know, you love it or hate it, I guess. I don't know that I'm a big fan of
The patented chin.
the patented chin. Well, it's more of a trademark, right? Also got the keyboard. Now, if we put the two side by side, you can see a considerably larger keyboard because we've got a bigger screen there. But they also got rid of this kind of D-pad thing on the side here and went for the arrow keys.
I don't know about you, when I got this thing, I immediately played like a ton of ROMs on this thing. It just destroyed, basically ripped the side off of that.
Were those legally acquired ROMs?
Absolutely. Aren't all ROMs legally
I think
acquired?
they are, yeah.
There's some sort of, it's like a gray area.
Yeah.
I was in
very
international waters when I downloaded them all on the phone.
Good, as one must be. So the bigger screen here gives us more room for more keys. It's a bigger phone and it's a heavier phone, but I'd say right now it's the best Android phone with a keyboard.
You want a keyboard on it?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely going to take up a lot of room in your pocket. If you're looking for something thin and light, that's not the best.
You don't get a lot of thin and light full keyboard phones these
very
days.
rarely, yeah.
No.
But it's got a dual-core processor, QHD display, no LTE. That's a little bit of a bummer, but can't have everything these days.
But you can have a keyboard.
Yes, you can have a keyboard that slides out on your
And if you're
Droid
wearing
3.
a fanny pack, then this is probably the phone for
Fit
you.
right in there, yeah. This is, I think, one of the latest honeycomb tablets to hit the market. This is the Toshiba.
Maybe the latest honeycomb tablet.
Yes,
in
the
the market.
Thrive, which has a power button down here.
Because you were holding it upside down.
Well,
that's why
does it
it
really
was at the
matter
bottom
in
of
these
the device.
tablets?
That's true.
This is now, of course, the Galaxy Tab
Yes.
10.1, which is our favorite
This
on
is
the
the
Android
I'm going
front.
to say this is the best honeycomb tablet you can
I think
currently
that's
buy
a safe
right
word
now.
to
yeah.
say. Yeah, if we spin this around, you can see it's got kind of this textury background. It gives it looks rugged, but you pick it up and you feel it, and it doesn't really feel so rugged.
Yeah, and if your hands, I guess, are sweaty, then it won't fall out of them.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it's cheaper, so if it does, it's not as big of a deal.
Right,
if
we're
it does
talking
fall out of your hands.
$429 starter on this for a 16 gig, but you can get away with a 16 gig tablet here because it's got a SD card here, so you can very easily augment the storage on here. You can buy a cheap tablet, throw in a big SD card that you might have sitting around, and go up to a larger size tablet, which is nice. It also has, somewhere over here, full-size USB, so you can plug a keyboard in there. Full-size HDMI, so you don't have to get one of those finicky converter cables, and a mini USB, which is a little bit dated.
So would you say this is 8 or 9 times as thick as this?
Oh, boy. Well, should we do this comparison here?
Okay.
You can pick it up for yourself.
That's several times thicker than this, but it
Yes.
has a USB cable. It's cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
And a very interesting feature. I think this is the only
This is the
honeycomb
only
tablet.
part that you couldn't do in rehearsals.
Yeah, so I'm going to hand this to you because I
Okay.
still can't
See
do this.
if we can get this guy.
User replaceable battery on a honeycomb tablet. Cross
We
your
were told
fingers.
that if it makes a cracking sound and it sounds like it's breaking, then
Yeah.
you're doing it
All right, look at that. This
Yeah.
is the battery. So you can swap that out if you're in a longer flight and your battery dies. The problem is the battery life on this not so good. Only I think 4 or 5 hours, something like that.
This
compared
takes,
to
this takes
9
3 or
10.
4 D cells.
Oh, I think at least 6. Cut those big Duracell packs, you know, the value ones that they have at Christmas that weigh 18 pounds. You got to get at least 2 of
I'll
those.
walk on this. I'm just going to put this down.
Okay, let's just put that
Let's
away.
move along.
So that's the Thrive. Now we've got 2 thin and light laptops, which
They call this the Throb in rehearsals.
they did,
Yeah.
which is pretty. Maybe that's the next generation, the larger version, the Toshiba Thrive.
It changes sizes. That's why they call it the Throb.
Oh, moving on. MacBook Air. This is the new refresh, coming out just 9 months after the last version. And let's see if we can turn it on. Here we go. Now this is
This
the,
is running Windows. Is the
running-
first thing that you
yeah,
know.
I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot to boot back into Mac OS.
Which is why this only got a 9 and not a 10.
Yes. No. This is the 13-inch model with a Core i5 processor. Benchmarks of this one compared to the model that came out 9 months ago, twice as fast, which is pretty impressive for a 9
The
months.
model, I might add, that you bought about a week before this
Twice
one
as
came out.
fast.
Yep.
Twice as fast as the one that I have, which is
Most expensive doorstop you ever bought.
No, I mean mine's okay, but this is definitely in a different league. This is definitely a laptop that you can have, you know, be very thin. It's pretty light, but it's actually fast enough that you can get some serious work done on it. So.
And this can play
Who knows?
Blu-rays and HD DVDs, is
Absolutely
that right?
neither.
No, okay.
No, it has
There's
no optical drive.
There's no optical drive.
I mean, of course, the big feature of this is that it's beautifully thin, but because of that, you have just 2 USB ports, a new Thunderbolt port, which is added in this version, and nothing much else really. SD card reader.
Do you think if Apple, if they did decide to adopt HD DVD, do you think that could turn the wars around a little bit?
I think it's a little
It's
late.
a little too late for that?
Even for Apple, it's a little
Okay.
too late for that. I mean,
It's a magical company.
Apple is the comeback kid, but boy, that'd be a miracle. Next
This guy?
one, the new
Another
Sony
thin light?
Vaio Z, which is a beautiful machine, but thinner and lighter. Well, I don't know, thinner.